Lonely rainy night. The rain had started softly, like a whisper on the window pane, but by nightfall, it had turned into a relentless downpour that hammered the roof of the old farmhouse. The house stood at the end of a long gravel road, surrounded by acres of dense forest and empty fields, miles away from the nearest neighbor. It was a place that seemed to hold its breath even on the sunniest of days, but on that particular night, it felt like the world had forgotten it existed. Inside, Clara sat curled up on the faded couch, an old wool blanket pulled up to her chin. The electricity had flickered twice and finally gave out around 7, plunging the house into a cold darkness broken only by the dim glow of the fireplace and a battery-powered lantern on the table. Her phone showed no service. She was alone, or so she thought. Clara had come to the farmhouse to escape the chaos of city life, the endless calls and meetings, the constant buzz of other people's lives invading her own. Her therapist had suggested a weekend retreat, somewhere isolated, where she could disconnect and just be. She had found the listing online. Asterisk historic farmhouse retreat. Peace and quiet guaranteed. Now, as the wind howled and rain beat down in sheets, she regretted everything. The first noise came just after 10. A creak. Not the settling kind she'd grown used to during the day, but deliberate, like a footstep on wooden boards. Clara froze. Her eyes shot toward the hallway that led to the front door. The sound came again. Another creak. Closer this time. She reached for the lantern and held it high, casting trembling shadows against the wall.
Hello?
Her voice was small, almost childish. The house answered with silence. It had to be the wind, or maybe an animal that had found its way inside. Raccoons were common out here, weren't they? She forced herself to stand, heart thudding, and moved cautiously toward the hall. The hallway was narrow and dark, lined with old family portraits whose eyes seemed to follow her as she passed. Clara kept the lantern steady, trying not to let it show how much her hand was shaking. She stopped by the front door, checked the lock. Still bolted. She breathed a little easier. Then she turned. A woman was standing at the end of the hallway. Clara dropped the lantern. It clattered to the floor but didn't break. The light flickered, casting the figure into sharp relief. Soaked dress clinging to her thin frame. Long black hair matted to her face, pale skin that seemed almost blue in the dim light, and eyes, empty, hollow pits that stared straight through Clara. She stumbled backward, heart racing, breath coming in short, panicked gasps. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" The woman didn't speak. She just stood there, water pooling at her feet, dripping steadily onto the wooden floor. Clara blinked, and the woman was gone. She backed into the living room, grabbed the lantern, and scanned the hallway. Empty. She forced herself to check every room. Kitchen, bathroom, upstairs. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. No wet footprints. Nothing to explain what she had seen. You're tired. Hallucinating. It's the storm, the darkness. Your mind is playing tricks on you. But she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone. Something was watching her. She decided to leave. Storm or not, she couldn't spend another minute in that house. She threw a few essentials into her bag, grabbed her coat and keys, and opened the front door. The storm had worsened. Wind whipped through the trees, bending them like sticks. Rain pelted her face as she stepped out onto the porch. Her car was at the edge of the driveway, just beyond the reach of the porch light. She took a deep breath and ran for it. She didn't hear the door slam shut behind her. By the time she reached the car, she was drenched and shivering. She fumbled with the keys, unlocked the door, and threw herself into the driver's seat. The engine didn't start. She tried again. Nothing. The third time, the headlights flickered on for a moment, just long enough for her to see the figure standing in front of the car. Same woman. Closer now. Clara screamed. She locked the doors, scrambled for her phone, but it was still dead. She looked back up. The figure was gone. She stayed in the car for what felt like hours, watching the rain distort the world outside. The storm didn't let up. Thunder rolled across the sky like an approaching army. Lightning lit up the trees, but no sign of the woman. Finally, she made a decision. She would walk. There had to be a gas station or a neighbor somewhere. She couldn't stay here. She got out, clutching her bag to her chest, and started down the road. Mud sucked at her boots. Branches clawed at her coat. Her breath came out in cold puffs. Every sound made her jump. The world had turned into a nightmare. Half a mile down the road, she saw a light. Faint and flickering, like a lantern in the window. Relief surged through her. She hurried toward it, slipping and stumbling in the mud. The light grew brighter, warmer. She could almost feel the comfort of dry clothes and a hot drink. She reached the house and knocked. No answer. She knocked again, harder. The door creaked open. "Hello?" she called. "I need help. My car." She froze. The house was identical to the farmhouse she had just left. Same furniture, same wallpaper, same fireplace, still burning low. A mirror image. Impossible. She stepped inside, heart pounding. The door slammed shut behind her. The fire died instantly, plunging the room into darkness. She turned, and the woman was there. But now she was closer, more solid. Her lips moved, whispering something Clara couldn't understand. Her fingers pointed toward the upstairs. Clara couldn't move, couldn't breathe. But something compelled her forward, up the stairs, down the hall, to the last room on the right. She opened the door. Inside was a child's room, dusty toys, a broken crib, and a diary lying open on a small desk. Clara picked it up. March 3rd, Mama said we have to stay quiet. She says the bad man can't find us if we're quiet. March 5th, Mama is gone. The rain won't stop. I'm cold. March 7th, he found us. The last page was stained with something dark. The woman appeared behind her in the mirror, expression twisted in sorrow. And then Clara remembered. Not everything, just flashes. A road trip, a wrong turn. The same house, years ago. She had been here before, not as Clara, as a child, with her mother. The woman wasn't a stranger. She was her mother. The night she died, Clara had blocked it all out. The trauma, the fear, the storm, and the man who had come knocking. She turned slowly. Her mother, her ghost, touched her face gently. And for the first time, Clara saw the house not as it was, but as it had been. Bright, full of life. Then she heard footsteps on the stairs. The door burst open. A man stood there, face shadowed, tall, holding something heavy in his hand. Clara screamed, and the world turned black. She awoke on the couch, wrapped in the same blanket. The fire was burning low. The lantern still glowed softly. Morning light filtered through the rain-streaked windows. She checked her phone. Full bars. Her car started on the first try. But when she drove away, she didn't look back. Not once. And if someone had been watching from the upstairs window, pale face pressed to the glass, she didn't see them. But they were there, waiting for the next lonely, rainy night. And if you return, if anyone returns, know this: the house remembers. It holds echoes of every cry, every footstep, every final breath. The storm outside is nothing compared to the storm that waits within. It feeds on memory, on guilt, on silence. And silence is what it always returns to. Because on a lonely, rainy night, the past doesn't stay buried. It comes home.